Hello there, my name is Dr. Salim Javed and we are talking about Société Film de Art. Société Film de Art we have been talking about. We have been talking about how Persian investor Fair Lafitte in 1908 started investing in it, and how it was a groundbreaking concept, and how it took a leap from Nickelodeon and fairground tents, and what film critics have called it. Society film they are that some have called it the first intellectual motion picture movement. How it was one of the finest pool of creative people, where people from prestigious academic Francois were recruited, actors were recruited, composers, renowned composers were recruited, original music was composed, and distinguished stage directors were engaged to conduct these plays. How it has had a literary and dramatic standpoint, and how, according to many people, it was exceedingly regressive. What makes it, exceedingly regressive? There were a lot of points that we have been talking about, and obviously, people from cinema, they they have alleged this particular style, that it had no concessions to the cinematic medium. Then we talked about that how patrons in an orchestra seat, or the camera maintained a central position related to the action and remained immobile. All these things we have talked about, and how each shot was designed to align with a complete dramatic scene. Uh, as you can see on your screen, it says that each shot was designed to align with a complete dramatic scene, enacted from start to finish, characterized by exuberant gesticulation and theatrical acting. Now, what is this gesticulation and theatrical acting? Now, because camera is very close to me as I am delivering my lecture, now as in this, studio right now, I supposed to sit in a certain way. I supposed to speak in a certain way because microphone is attached. Even if I have to clear my throat, I have to do like so. I have to be very precise in this. Now, when had it been a theater, I would not have been bounded to a chair. Then I could have been moving here and there around the stage. So that could have been a very theatrical projection of my lecture. Now, what is gesticulation? Now, it comes from a word called gesture. Now, as I am bound in a frame, so imagine that 1908, 9, 1910 or 15. Now it's a wide, it is a, right now it's a limited frame. So my gestures need to be very precise, very calculated. I cannot stretch my arms like this and go out of the frame. I cannot do that because there is a frame within which I am speaking. So the gesticulation and the theatricality which is involved in this lecture is governed by the grammar of cinema, not by the grammar of a stage or a theater. Now that is one of the biggest allegations that Société Cinema de Art faces even till date, that they were gesticulating, or they were very theatrical in their recording of the medium. Obviously, they were playing by the rules of theatre. Please understand. Actors were playing by the rule of theatre. Director was from stage. Composers, obviously, they were composing for a stage performance. So, here is where I clearly demonstrated the difference between the gesticulation or the gesturology of a film actor or a theatre actor. Now, the allegation of Société Cinema de Art is that they are in cinema doing theatre, because obviously it was recording theatrical performances. There is no doubt about that. But we have just clearly seen a demonstration of gesticulation and theatrical performance, whereas I, in this studio, I am bound by the cinematic rules. So, there is where this is how we are communicating. I am not running around the stage. It's a frame. For me, it's a frame where I'm supposed to deliver. But if I start running around the stage where I am right now, so I'll be out of the frame, because that is how it has been designed. Now, ultimately, as if to rescue the audience that they were witnessing a high art film. You really have to understand this, what is called high art film, rather than a mere live picture. Now, when you say high art film, that is what those who were conceiving, those who were patronizing, those who were appreciating, for them it's a high art film. And for those who are not from that side, for them it is one of the live pictures. Now, film de art sets were fabricated from paper mesh and plaster with background painted on canvas. In terms of cinematic story, the film de art work were more rudimentary. Now, this is one of the allegations again. Now, in terms of cinematic story, the film de art's work were more rudimentary than Méliès's film and significantly less inventive also. So, imagine from cinema point of view that you have a higher bar than Société Film de Art before itself. Film de art has got a higher bar in the form of Georges Méliès, in the form of Pathé, in the form of Guémon, in the form of Fantomos. Fantomos came a bit late, which was adapted throughout the Europe. UK also adopted it. So you have a higher bar, especially in cinema. And then you are saying that we are catering to or what we are producing is a high art film. For you it may be a mere live picture, for us it is a high art film. High art film which is using for its sets, which is using paper mache and plasters. For backgrounds were painted on canvas. How interesting it is, to be very honest. How interesting it is that what we are abhorring here, that the background is painted on canvas, the same point we are celebrating when we are talking about German Expressionism. Look at the cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Look at the set. Walls were painted on canvas. Roofs were skewed. Windows were shrinking. So here it is a criticism. But when it comes to German Expressionism, it is absolutely a celebration. In terms of cinematic story, obviously there is where when you look only from the story's point of view, they were doing a brilliant job. But critics call it as more rudimentary than Méliès's film. You know how rudimentary Méliès's film were. they were sparkling because of the trick photography. So, uh, but the critique call society film, the art films, more rudimentary than Millier's films and significantly less inventive also. But these are the points. Your job is to see all kinds of films. Your job is to judge for yourself. Your job is to, this particular style. If you see Tamasha, film by Imtiaz Ali, then you will see a lot of connections from here and that particular film. Now, nevertheless, for many years, they enjoyed significant popularity and were widely emulated throughout the Western world. The premiere of the inaugural film, the art production, L'Assassin de la Gouche, or the assassination of Dieu the Goose, on November 17, 1908, received widespread acclaim. Now, this film, particular film, was directed by Charles Leberry and Andre Clement of the Comédie Francoise, with a screenplay by Henry and a score. Now, look at these names on your screen. They are big people at that particular point of time. They were, who is who of the business. And when this film was received, or when this film was released in November 17, 1908, I mean, it was like widely emulated throughout the Western world. Such was the power of of this film. People, high art film, the word called high art film. There was a clear cut departure from the live images to high art film. And by 1908, they had a blast. I mean, blast in a good sense. Obviously, it was well received by people. It was a monumental cultural achievement. It was asserted that it would be as important event, the release of this film. It would be as important event as the projection of cinema, commercial projection of cinema for the first time on December 28, 1895. So, a lot of critique wrote like this, that it is such a profound, it is such, it is, the release of this film is so important, it is so grand, it is so well received, it is like the powerful art house, not art house, film art in itself. Now, in later years, Society Film the Art produced adaptation of plays by Edmond Rostand, Francois Coupé, Victoria Sardou. The company also created interpretations of Dickens' novel Oliver Twist, the play Madame Sansgré, and famous novel of Goethe, The Sorrow of the Young Werther. Now, the advent of sound technology led to the company's demise. That happened quite late, but they were picking up, they were cherry picking things. Whosoever great writer up till that point, who is obviously scalable and saleable. Now, you may find it funny that I am saying it scalable and saleable. You know, this reminds me a particular anecdote that one of the biggest Hindi writers, Premchand, when you try to convert Premchand into cinema, there are other plays less popular than Gaban Godan, Asad Ka Ek Din, or Namak Ka Daroga, and many more also. They are less in credibility, less in literary value, but they have got more cinematic quality. So that's what I said. Whichever play which was scalable and saleable. Now this is very um, this is a very derogative line of action when it comes to judging, writing. But now again, my point is that it is from the angle of cinema. So you may enjoy more of uh, नीम का पेड़, राही मासूम रजा राही मासूम रजा wrote it, नीम का पेड़. Then maybe आषाढ़ का एक दिन. In cinema, I'm saying, when you read, both are respectable, both are fantastic. You get connected to both the piece of literature. But there is an element of scalability, there is an element of saleability, there is an element of projection. When you see this particular film, Metropolis, which was the first science fiction film of the world, Metropolis, Fritz Lang was the director, which comes in German Expressionism. You realize that futurism is there and utopia has been created by using a future reference point, but they are creating a utopia only, at least for a certain part of the film. Now, uh, they were taking Oliver Twist. They were making they were taking Sardo. They were taking adaptation from Rostand. Coupe was there, and novels of Cothe's novel like The Sorrow of the Young Werther were there. So, whatever was available, please understand, whatever was available, whatever was scalable, saleable, was available. Société Film de Art was doing that. And not only in France, Film de Art faced several imitators across France, Italy, Great Britain, Germany, Denmark, and eventually in United States also. So look at the impact of this particular thing. You like it, you don't like it, that is a different thing, but it was taken up by obviously France had started, Italy, Great Britain, Germany, Denmark, and ultimately United States also picked this up. Now this competition rendered the market exceedingly challenging. Now France, for example, had not only the Société Cinématographe d'Auteur en Gant la Lettre, but Série d'Art Pathé, Gamos Film Estique, Esclairs Association Cinématographique, the Auteur Dramatique, and two independent companies like Film de Auteur and Teatro Films. When I'll be talking about late 50s, early 60s, and when I'll be talking about French cinema, the wave of French cinema, first wave of French cinema, obviously then you will get to hear words like auteur. Auteur theory I'll be talking about when I'll be talking about renowned critiques from French cinema. Now look at these words on your screen. It's especially the last, which talks about auteur. So author, obviously it means author only. But so a lot of people think that it is a concept which came quite late in French cinema. No, it has got the germination here. So it is nothing that was not existing, or it was discovered, or it was found. No, it was there. It was later rediscovered, or meanings were reassigned. For a while, the fervor for extensive adaptation of classical films and plays, commonly referred to as films the art, was prevalent in Western Europe, surpassing innovation and enveloping the nascent medium of the film in the literary conventions of the preceding century. Now, I remember when I started watching cinema, there was a, very very interesting paper which was talking about that why cinema does not take much from literature. There is so much to there is there is so much available in literature. You have seen great films coming from literature. Some of the recent films, popular recent films, there can be thousand. Three Idiots was there. Obviously, the inspiration was from a book, and you enjoyed it thoroughly. So here is a style which is completely taking its inspiration, or rather, the ground of this particular style is the literary ground. Now, for a period, it appeared that all forms of literary, musical, or choreographed expressions, particularly the film, ballet, or opera, that constituted a significant portion of the film the art, film the art corpus. So look at that film. The art is not only about written literature. It is incorporating ballet also. It is incorporating. It is recording opera also. Originating from Western Europe between 1900 and the Renaissance, together with Greek tragedy, were incorporating into these theatrical and ostentatious creations. Sophocles, Shakespeare, Goethe, Dumas, Victor Hugo, uh, Dickens, Balzac, Wenger, Lytton were juxtaposed with the modern classics of current authors such as Anatole France and Hank Chiswick. Look at the contrast from Sophocles to Anatole. So that is what I was saying. Whatever was available, whatever was scalable. So look at this new film which is coming up by the director. This what is his name? Inception director. Now again, it is literature which is coming into films, but obviously they are not. He is not from Société Film the art. He's not merely recording it. It's not a tableau, but literature keep. I mean, it is one of the biggest strength of cinema. That is what I keep on saying, that cinema has a unique quality of assimilating, absorbing, taking, recognizing, appreciating any pre-existing art form and feeling not challenged by it. That's the beauty of cinema. And that's the only reason that though a lot of other competitive mediums have come, so people may spend so much of time on OTT platforms, they may cringe about expensive tickets, they may appreciate the convenience OTT has offered them, they may talk about the distance from their home to cinema hall, but still we long, there is a longing for good films. And it has been throughout, from 1895 to 2026, almost 130 years now. Almost 130 years. There is a longing for great cinema. There is a longing for wonderful cinema. There is a longing that entertain us, teach us, inspire us, mesmerize us. Whosoever, from whichever era, from whatever craft, from whatever art, whosoever fits into this particular frame has been entertaining people for last 130 years in the medium of cinema. That is where it is beautiful. That's what I say. You love it, you love it, you abhor it. It's absolutely fine. But it made its mark. It it picked up things. It showed to the people. It inspired them. It gave them work. It gave them entertainment. It gave them values. It gave them remuneration. Earned also. And it created a style for itself. Eastern Europe was also impacted. Great Russia, to an extent that a lot of people say that Einstein, who was Einstein two-part Ivan the Terrible, originated during this era, with Hungarian cinema's enduring interest in literary themes. There is so much, there is so much to explore. There is so much to talk about. Obviously, you are from the cinema side. Obviously, you'll look for that particular grammar. You will look for that particular interest. But look what wonders they were doing. I'll be talking more about it. But this is all for now. Thank you very much.